There's this common trend right now in American entertainment that when something is successful and men like it, the next step is to do the South Park thing and put a chick in it and make her gay. But the reality is that this is not why I consider it to be a red flag. And I do mean that Ghost of Tsushima sequel is filled with red flags from my point of view, and hopefully I'm wrong. And it's not the fact that it's a woman that's now the main character. Like, even though there has never been a female samurai in history, Ghost of Tsushima, unlike Assassin's Creed, is not supposed to be inspired from history. It's supposed to be inspired from samurai movies. So if you have a woman that's graceful and she's cool and it's amazing, then yeah, great. You know, I prefer actually playing with a female character. I like the Tomb Raider games. I like looking at a nice plump ass rather than looking at a man going into a hot spring. You know, so again, like, games are for entertainment purposes, and I would be fine with that. The red flag is the fact that this is an outspoken activist. So you're telling me that from the thousands of female voice actors that probably would have applied for the job, you couldn't find anyone else besides the person that just doesn't click with gamers, besides the person that just doesn't vibe with the gaming community. And not only that, but you also make her the face of the game. And I'm telling you this as a person that also speaks with other indie game developers, and I don't know what's going on with the English voice acting, but they're absolute cancer. Like one of my friends, which is an indie game developer, told me that after he posted on Twitter making fun of Assassin's Creed, he had one of the female voice actors who's like, you're a really nice guy to work with, and I really appreciate the professionalism. But your takes are beyond unacceptable. Like, I support the marginalized communities. I'm an LGBT ally, and your take on Assassin's Creed, oh my god, I cannot work with you. And then two other voice actors join, you know? And I was telling you, like, my god, do you know how relaxing it is to work with Japanese voice actresses? Because you don't deal with that shit. Like, they don't actually stalk your social media. They don't give a fuck about what your personal opinions are. Like, all they do is like, all right, Gaijin, tell me when you need the voice lines and just pay me on time and we're good. That's it, right? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that this is what low-tier voice actors do, right? Because, like, you're not going to work with the voice for Azula in an indie game. So just imagine how the high-tier voice actresses behave. There is no way that you can hire an activist like this lady and not expect her to at least have some control of the production, whether it's about the artist team, whether it's about the way the developers behave, whether it's about the story. Like, I refuse to believe that she just got there and voice acted. And I'm willing to bet we are going to hear more of her opinions in the future. I am willing to bet that we're going to say, oh my goodness, all the critics of this game are harassing me. They're harassing me. You better buy the game. You better buy the game to stick it to the critics. Again, this is what I think is going to happen. So we'll see if I'm right or not. But again, they chose to hire an activist, right? So what exactly did she do? Well, as you can see here, Japanese people are digging through her history. And the reason Japanese people are doing this is that, number one, they got burned with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So they really are a little bit worried about Western companies disrespecting their culture now. But the second thing is that they genuinely liked Ghost of Tsushima. Like, they consider it to be Westerners understanding Japanese culture even better than Japanese people do. I think that's an actual quote from a Japanese developer. So they were like, why are they changing the main character? It's not necessarily like, why are we playing with the woman, but it's like, why don't they continue the story of the original character? Because in the original game, like, it's implied that we are going to see what happens with the events after the game closes. Like, it heavily implies a sequel. But instead, the new game is going to take place, I think it's like 400 years in the future. So, like, they were a little bit bewildered by it. So they started looking into who this person is. And again, she hates gamers. Like, she's blocking people left and right. Apparently, there are people who never interacted with her who are blocked, which means that she's part of the culture where you get to share block lists of potential customers. Really good business strategy, by the way. And the main character in the previous film was also a Southeast Asian lady, so I already had a bad feeling when I saw the trailer. If they could keep it quiet, Ghost of would be fine. But the alphabet supporters, take into account this is a Japanese person talking about this, right? The alphabet supporters of political correctness have a lot of sick people who will die if they don't do something. The problem is whether SP can hold the reins properly. Right, so again, to me, this is a red flag. Like, I'm not saying yet that the game will be bad or not, but I'm already concerned. I'm very concerned because it's not a good sign, right? The first game, when it came out, the journalists were mocking it and they wanted it to fail. I remember since the reveal of the game, they had the white guy that was playing a Japanese instrument, and they were like, but why are you whitewashing? Whitewashing. How do you whitewash? Do you think you're Netflix? Only Netflix can race swap, and it's only one way. Why are you doing this? How dare you have a... Turns out that that guy that was singing the instrument was one of the only people in the world that knew how to master that instrument. Like, everyone else that sang it was dead. But again, the journalists were livid. Like, how can you put the white guy singing? Like, what the... Are you insane? Allowing a white guy singing. And then they kept attacking the company, which at the time was out there saying that their main focus was on figuring out how to represent the katana. That was literally their trailer. It's like, we watched a lot of samurai movies, and what we noticed about the katana is that it's fast, it's deadly, and we wanted to represent that in a game while still maintaining the game to be fun, because if the katana is too fast, then people can't react to it. And they were just talking about the gameplay, and I was like, holy shit. Wow, if only other game companies could do that. And the game was very popular, right? But if they start now talking, it's like, oh, we have invented something that no one did before. We have a woman in our game. Oh, groundbreaking. Never before have you seen a badass woman. You know, like if they start doing that, I'm not buying the game. I'm not buying the game. I don't care. But so far, it's just a red flag. You know, like just putting an outspoken activist, not just in charge of the main character, but also as the face of the game, makes me wonder, why couldn't you find someone else? Why did you have to pick the person that's not vibing with your consumer base? Why? Because that means the person doing the hiring may have hired also similar people. So is this a one-off, or is this a thing that they're doing consistently? Like, do they go to the voice act? Like, how much do you hate gamers? I hate gamers. Hired. How much do you hate gamers? Well, I don't hate gamers. I play games. Go out. Go touch grass. Go touch grass. We'll see. You know, hopefully I'm wrong. I want this game to be successful, but you never know. I've been burned way too many times, and I have seen way too many flags to the point where I start recognizing patterns before other people do. But, again, maybe this time I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.